Islanders relocated after volcano eruption face food shortages. St. John Clinic set up for judicial staff. And global pandemic forced nature to send out message.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayre.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Tuesday's news. It's been 2 years since the KADOVAR volcano erupted off the coast of East Sepik. More than 300 people were relocated to Dandan on the east coast of Wewak, but the islanders have not quite settled in. According to a women's representative, they face problems with gardening, and this has led to a food shortage for the 600-plus population at the care centre.
It's another carefree day for these children at the Dandan Care Centre. While these children portray much joy and happiness, their families have been struggling since relocating to this location at Turubu along the east coast of Wewak. Having been displaced from their island home in KADOVAR, they have had to build a new life here. Apart from fishing, these islanders were able to make gardens on a portion of land allocated to them. But the land isn't able to produce as much as it used to.
Or pumpkin, okay, number 2 run and by minus number 5 or number 4 round flower is the same garden if flower repeating. About the grass, Nami flower plan is the same one again. Not time if one side, cutting really bush, no background to come stopping me plan.
This has resulted in a shortage of garden food for the 600-plus population.
From 1 month to big 2, they came up now, we plan to kiss rations. And as I establish struggle way, community establish struggle way, Bamito and I struggle slower, I mix peace in exchange long way, online highways a come to exchange, or last place, or some Dandan, Samap, now 2 old man outside, 2 Singotimol. One family go work outside. Now this la moments along moon months and I come in June.
In 2018, the volcano on KADOVAR Island erupted. Over 500 people, including children, were forced to evacuate their homes. The provincial government negotiated with the landowners and the islanders were relocated to the Dandan Care Centre. According to the women's representative Esther Nick, the women have been struggling to provide for their families since the relocation and hope that the provincial government can help to address their issues.
Day and night, me plus anything, me plus a sleep, me ting long. Side blow me plan, Mary, la pity mol man, me beginning blow me plan. So me plus I think now, not tomorrow, Bamba sit down, I want something. Me plus I think of this last side.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News.
PNG's National Judicial Staff Services, in affiliation with the PNG's consistent ambulance service, St. John, opened a new clinic facility today. This will greatly assist staff who work long hours and are faced with even greater stress that comes with the profession. Under the control of the Chief Justice, judicial staff are able to get medical help from the St. John ambulance at the new clinic. And at Cora reports.
Following a recent incident which almost saw a senior state lawyer lose his life due to health complications, the National Judicial Staff Services, in affiliation with the PNG St. John Ambulance, opened up a clinic within the National Court premises today. A first for the Judicial Services to engage with a health service provider, the clinic will be of utmost help to law professionals who are under constant stress on a daily basis.
We are coming with a charged population of ours. Many times our lawyers get into the stressful conditions that they will come to work.
This has been an issue past faced.
We've had issues here before in these very premises and the courtrooms where lawyers have collapsed under stress, and we need to attend to them when those kind of incidents happen. And we want our people to be able to attend to people who get affected by stress and people who have health issues when they are attending to in our premises. And so this the opening of the clinic here at the judiciary's premises will go a long way in addressing that issue.
Affiliations with a health service provider such as St. John's are vital, with further recommendations that these sort of assistance be given to other public servants in the various departments to build a productive workforce.
And that's one aspect of our partnership here, that we want to arrange with the St. John's Ambulance to offer a training course for first aid, basic first aid training course. Some of our people may have already done that course, others may not have, but we want a training program to be launched by to be facilitated by PNG-CJE together with the assistance of the St. John's Ambulance to do that for us, so that we can build our capacity to attend incidents like emergency incidents where lawyers collapse or officers collapse or even judges collapse in our workplace here.
Occupational safety is equally important to staying healthy and living a healthy life. Meet Rachel Piokol, the St. John's Health Extension officer who conducted CPR and resuscitated a senior lawyer who had collapsed in court.
And then I did a CPR for 25 minutes, and then in the 25 minutes, the advisory mode in the Haiti advised me to shock the patient 3 times. So then I thought that maybe there's a blockage in his heart, and then it advised me, so I had to shock the patient 3 times, and then after the third shocking of the patient, he started to gasp for air, to breathe by himself. And then I was really happy that he was struggling to breathe. At least I got the heart back functioning well, and then he was struggling to breathe. And then I just continued to do CPR, chest compression for the patient, and then wait until my backup crews arrived, and then we stabilized him in an advanced first aid manner.
The lawyer is currently being treated at the General Hospital and has since moved to Ward 7 from the intensive care unit and is now in recovery mode. Annette Cora, National EMTV News.
The National Planning Department has partnered with the Pacific Institute of Governance and Leadership to deliver training to district and provincial government officials. This training will help equip them with knowledge to well formulate their district and provincial plans to be aligned with the Medium-Term Development Plan 3. A memorandum of understanding was signed today to start this partnership.
This memorandum of understanding now paves way for training programs to be delivered to district and provincial government officers to help formulate better development plans. According to National Planning Secretary Connie Samuel, the plans must be aligned with the Medium-Term Development Plan 3.
The bigger challenge is for the districts and the provinces to really know, including the sectors, on how to plan and develop and formulate the district development plans, provincial development plans, as well as the sector development plans. And we've been looking for partners to help us to be able to roll out the training.
All provinces and districts are required to submit their plans to the department to be endorsed, and it is a requirement that the plans must be aligned with the MTDP3. However, only 75 districts have submitted their plans, and 5 provinces are yet to submit their provincial plans. The Secretary is concerned that this training will help them to develop better plans for their provinces and districts.
So they can be able to be trained well, equipped well, so they can be able to go back, help the province, districts, and the sectors to formulate their plans that can be aligned to the Medium-Term Development Plan 3 of government.
PILAG CEO Michael Barobe, when signing the MOU, assured the Secretary that the training will be delivered on time to help train the officials. He says the institution is committed to train staffs from government organizations.
By the government to deliver and develop training programs, especially the capacity building public sector programs, and we are doing that. In line with that, we have got other MOUs with like Department of Personal Management. We are rolling out what is called a HR business process.
The institution has partnered with various government organizations to offer leadership training and to help build capacity at sub-national level, and they have been delivering training at district level.
We are happy now to the Department of National Planning partner with us. We will develop, as you have said, 1 or 2 programs that have been assigned already to us. Then we will also develop this out to the people out there, simply for them to translate the big policies at the national level down to the district and provinces.
Secretary Samuel says with this partnership, the department will be able to implement the Medium-Term Development Plan 3. Rayon Lakingu National, EMTV News.
The Lae Urban local level government has 400 extra employees without proper positions for almost 6 years, according to Lae MP John Rosso. Rosso said he has brought the issue of concern to the provincial administration and the Lae city manager for deliberation, but nothing was done. In an interview yesterday, the Morobe provincial administrator said there should only be 16 contracted officers and no more. He said the administration should sort out this mess.
The employees that have moved to the new...
Lae MP and Minister for Lands and Fiscal Planning John Rosso said there are almost 600 employees who have been working under the Lae Urban local level government for the last 6 years without proper positions. Rosso said the district has brought this issue of concern to the provincial administration as the head of the employee structure for Lae and Morobe, but nothing was done. The extra employees are among those whose wages would be affected going forward following a garnishee order the Internal Revenue Commission issued to the LULLG operating account last week.
There's about 600 people in the structure, whereas the legal entity structure is you're looking at only about 250 people. And out of that 250 people, that's what they should be paying. But they've gone on themselves and hired Tom, Dick and Harry and put them in positions that are not there. So now they have to face the music and pay these guys. A lot of these people don't even come to work, and but they still demand to get paid from the council. And the administration has not been of much help. We've asked time and time again for the Morobe provincial administration to, it is part and parcel of their obligations to ensure that these people get laid off or remunerated properly and deal with the issue. I've spoken about it for the last 3 years and no one has done anything. The ball is now in the court of the Morobe provincial administrator, the city manager. They have to deal with the issue now.
Today, EMTV News met with the Morobe provincial administrator, Bat Ipambonj, who said the LULLG administration, including the city manager Joel Kolam and Lord Mayor James Kay, should sort this issue that was created by the LULLG administration over the past years.
Mr. City Manager, we come emulsion, we plus maintaining 300 plus workman very long, Lae Urban local level government, plus 16 plus national public servants, plus Morobe administration. All his second man long, Lae Urban local level government, and more contract officers. So Lae City yet by about 300. Anything beyond that, and by me talking make access.
Under the new administration of Lae City, Lord Mayor James Kay also confirmed that he had spoken to the Lae City manager Joel Kolam to sort out the issue of the extra employees, but nothing has been done. Mr. Kay said over 500,000 kina is normally paid towards the LULLG employees' wages each fortnight.
But I want to tell Lae City, tell Morobe, tell Papua New Guinea that Lae Urban LLG, it's a very recognized entity of this very city, province, and this nation. We've got all the technical staffs are there to implement the betterment of this city. But the problem, the top management, what happened? They already been sold this very Lae Urban LLG to the dogs. I cannot understand how they run it. In my term, this is not my new term too. I've been in the office for 3 consecutive terms. Now this is my 4th term. I'm here to deliver. I'm not here with my councillors to clean somebody's mess.
EMTV News went to the city manager's office and waited for 2 hours to get a response from the city manager. However, Joel Kolam refused to comment. The city manager also refused to release the extra employees, according to Lord Mayor James Kay. According to Lay MP John Rosso, over 100 employees from the LULLG signed off and moved to Lay City Authority, Lay's new administration. Julie Badui, Owa, National EMTV News, Lay.
You're watching National EMTV News. Among stories after the break, UN rep says nature is responding to the global pandemic. Nurses in Madang set up tents for immunization due to rundown state of the clinic. And emergency controller responds to query on an inbound international flight. Details after the break. Welcome back. As the global pandemic is affecting the world, nature is sending out a message. UNDP Resident Representative Dirk Wagner notes that COVID-19 was also a result of human interference in the balance of the natural environment. Now, more than ever, we must reflect on these events and be aware of how we'll look after our environment.
As many countries around the world continue to battle COVID-19, are we listening to what nature is telling us? UNDP resident Rep. Dirk Wagner says nature is giving us a very important reminder.
It reminds us also that we should take better care of nature, because sometimes we are taking for granted all those gifts and all those resources nature is providing us with.
COVID-19 emerged from the animal world. Usually humans are not affected by these diseases because we keep our distance with those wild animals.
But the more we destruct habitats, the more we encroach on natural areas, the more we encroach on those areas which should be actually protected or reserved for those wild animals, the more we expose ourselves actually to those potentially deadly diseases such as COVID.
COVID-19 is having an immediate and dramatic effect on the globe, mainly due to the fact that borders are shut down, halting economic activities, including terrible loss of life.
But climate change can be a much larger killer. Maybe it doesn't kill as fast and maybe it is not as obvious to us, but climate change has the potential to kill many more people and to affect us actually much more dramatically in the medium and long term.
The rate at which we consume natural resources by far exceeds the regenerative capacity of the earth. Mr. Wagner says the more diversified an economy is, the better it is able to withstand economic shock.
Of such ecosystems to the entire population and to the future of the country is so much higher than actually just the value of exploiting those resources and then maybe losing them for future generations.
If one were to monetize the ecosystem services, our biodiversity is worth so much more than what can be extracted from them. Lilian Sopera Kinea, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, 131 guests visited Varirata National Park over the weekend. As part of the implementation of the park's management plan, the tour was set to promote biodiversity protection and market ecotourism at the national park and Sogeri areas.
Very nice, Varirata. We'll come back here. Yes.
A one-day cultural tour to Varirata National Park saw over 130 city residents spending time with nature over the weekend. Organized by the PNG Conservation and Environment Protection Authority, Japan International Cooperation Agency, and PNG Tourism Promotion Authority, this was the first tour for the year. A participant of the tour, Peter Awa, enjoyed every minute of being with nature.
From our busy schedule, we've been very busy out there, not knowing that some of the beautiful places here that we have in Papua New Guinea, and we thank the SEPA for giving us this great opportunity to experience the beauty and the tranquility of the natural vegetations that we have here at Warriata National Park.
The national park itself is 8 kilometers with clearly marked walking trails ranging from 45 minutes to 3 hours long. The tour had many activities such as hiking, trekking, lakeside viewing, quarry cultural performances, sightseeing, group photography, and visiting a tree house.
I'll take a picture from out.
And I call to the city residents down there, if you want to release stress and some of the pressure that you sustain through the week, this is the beautiful place. So I urge every one of us to come out here and experience some of the beautiful place here.
The tour ended at 2 p.m. and the national park is looking forward to hosting the next tour in September. Lilian Sopera Kinea, National EMTV News.
Nurses at the Middletown Clinic are now visiting patients within their catchment areas to provide medical treatment after the clinic was closed. The clinic has been closed for almost 2 months. Health officers told EMTV they had to set up tents outside of the clinic during immunization days.
Middletown Clinic opens on Tuesdays to allow parents to bring in their babies for immunization rounds. This morning, nurses had to set up tents outside to accommodate parents because of the heavy downpour.
Yes, much close.
The health officers cannot see patients in the building as most sections of the building are run down and no longer safe for patients. The facility has not seen any major renovation work for over 10 years now. Sister in charge, Sister Judith Alingo, explained that the ablution block is not safe for both patients and health workers to use.
2 months already, full 2 months.
Sister Alingo added they had also moved all equipment inside the clinic and had locked them in a container at the Medang District Office following the initial arrangement in March with the COVID-19 technical team to use the building as an isolation center.
Clinic, all got a room, bagarap, toilet, shower, blood patients, bagarap. The front, waiting room also come inside, go and bagarap.
It is almost 2 months since the town clinic closed, awaiting renovation work to be carried out so that health workers can see patients. At least 19,000 people within the clinic's catchment population will continue to suffer if the clinic remains closed and renovation work not done.
Clinic, you got plenty problems stuff inside the clinic. Some time, me plus sakam clinics are pass.
MTV made attempts to get in touch with the district health manager but was unsuccessful. Martha Louise, National EMTV News, Medang.
SOE controller David Manning has responded to a statement made by PNC leader and former Prime Minister Peter O'Neill regarding the arrival of Chinese nationals into Papua New Guinea. O'Neill, in a statement to the media, raised suspicions that a flight inbound from Hong Kong yesterday did not need a level of secrecy. The former Prime Minister calling on the Marape government to be transparent, saying it serves no good for national interest to see suspicious activity taking place. Manning, in responding this afternoon, reassured the nation that there was no hidden agenda.
The country against COVID-19, we also do it with the greatest of care and responsibility, and as such, let me put aside or dispel those allegations that or assertions that there was some special dispensation given to facilitate this visit. Yes, but under full observance of Measure 8 of our COVID-19 protocols under the National Pandemic Act.
And now looking at the NASFund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.289 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina is buying $0.2815 $0.4033 Australian dollars, $0.242 euro, and 29.44 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower. Coffee and copper are closed higher, and cocoa closed the day lower. Crude oil is trading lower, palm oil closed lower, and copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 153.5 points higher. The ASX 200 is trading at 9.85 points higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 11.32 points higher. You're watching National EMTV News. We'll be back with stories making headlines overseas. Details after the break. Welcome back to the news. Turning overseas, with new coronavirus cases now escalating to 1 million in just a week, global milestones are rising. More than 9 million people are now being infected since the outbreak began. Around half have recovered, but the worldwide death toll is now ticking towards 500,000. India is now the fourth highest in confirmed cases, but underreporting it's thought to be hiding the true scale. In Pakistan, just over 180,000 cases now, but there's a new warning that it will reach a million in a little over a month.
This New Delhi train's going nowhere. Hundreds of carriages converted into emergency wards as India hurtles towards a health catastrophe. Mass sanitation, even of people. The virus now spreading through villages home to most of the nation's 1.3 billion people. This man says he's taking 5 times the normal number of bodies to the crematorium.
How many deaths are occurring in India is probably vastly underestimated.
Meanwhile, neighbouring Pakistan is reopening to evade economic disaster, but it's walking head-on into a pandemic at its peak. Officials warning of an infection explosion, at least 1 million by the end of July.
Unfortunately, the poor and ignorant people don't believe the virus exists. They think it is some conspiracy.
Worldwide, there were 183,000 cases reported yesterday, a record high.
It's only getting started in many places. Ultimately, given the nature of this virus, it might infect 4 billion people across the planet and could kill 20 or 30 million.
The virus has taken hold in Latin America, sharp spikes in Chile and Peru. Fresh graves litter Brazil's landscape.
We're close to chaos.
But it's the world's most powerful country with the highest number of deaths. As some states relax restrictions amid declining numbers, cases are soaring in 23 others.
We are moving very fast in the wrong direction.
This graph reveals the contrast between the EU's dip after it imposed strict lockdowns and the far less dramatic drop-off in cases in the US.
I don't think we're going to see 1, 2, and 3 waves. I think we're going to just see one very, very difficult forest fire of cases.
The virus's staying power revealed even in countries widely praised for their response, with new outbreaks in Germany and across the ditch in Victoria. Restrictions reimposed there as the state suffers 90% of Australia's new cases.
There's a real risk that it could just start all over again.
A risk no country can afford to take.
Germany is seeing a spike in coronavirus cases. Health officials are linking this to an explosion of cases at a meat processing plant in the country's west. More than 1,300 workers have tested positive. Authorities are struggling to impose local lockdowns.
Germany has called in its army after more than 1,300 workers at the Tönnies meat processing plant in the city of Gütersloh tested positive for the novel coronavirus. Local authorities ripped into management, saying in many cases the firm failed to provide the addresses of employees, even as health officials were urgently trying to trace those who may have been in contact with the virus. I want to say clearly that the trust we have in the Tönnies company is zero, the crisis team leader says. I have to say this clearly. While the company says German data protection laws slowed the information sharing process, the owner says he's sorry the outbreak occurred in his business. I can only offer my complete apologies and give my apology because we are the cause of this issue and carry full responsibility, me as a businessman and the company as a whole, he said. The outbreak in Gütersloh is one of the main reasons the reproduction number for the novel coronavirus in Germany has soared, the country's Center for Disease Control said. But it also spotlights what many activists and politicians say are unacceptable working conditions in German abattoirs, with employees often laboring and living in very close quarters. Germany has seen a series of outbreaks in its meat processing industry, and the government says it will take action to improve conditions. The federal government is determined not to be guided by the interests of lobbyists, but by the interests of the public, Germany's labor minister said. At its core, this is a decision between public well-being or egoistic interests. Meanwhile, in the town of Gütersloh, state authorities say they might have to put the entire region around the Tönnies plant under a blanket lockdown. The source of this outbreak can be found at this specific company, so it is still the case that we are unable to rule out a wider lockdown, the state governor said. While Germany has often been praised for its strong reaction to the coronavirus pandemic, politicians acknowledge they need to do more to make sure the meat industry here does not remain a source of heightened infections.
And Chukai Sports is next. Elijah Lavetta is at the sports desk.
Thanks, Helen. PNG Olympic Committee partners with Australia to support PNG athletes and tentative plans for Kumuls to play some matches this year. Join me for the details after the break.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. To mark Olympic Day, the Australian High Commission announced a new partnership with the Papua New Guinea Olympic Committee that will give PNG athletes world-class preparation in their bid to qualify for the Tokyo Olympic Games in July 2021. Australian High Commissioner John Phillip made the announcement alongside PNGOC Secretary General Ovita Rapila before joining an Olympic Day workout session led by PNG Olympians Ryan Pini and Dick Atoa at Ella Beach as part of the world's largest 24-hour digital Olympic workout. The $250,000 grant will assist PNGOC to provide access to training camps in PNG and Australia that offer high-level facilities. Also upskill PNG coaches using Australian coaching expertise and draw on Australia's leading sports scientists to build capacity in PNG and give financial support to athletes so they can focus on training to an Olympic standard. There are tentative plans in place for the PNG LNG Kumuls to play a few matches before the end of the year. The schedule is being revised by the Rugby League International Federation and will be made known at a later date. At yesterday's PNG LNG's announcement of their continued sponsorship for the Kumuls, PNG Rugby Football League Chairman Sandy Saka said a tentative plan has been put in place for the Kumuls to play some matches before the end of the year.
The PNG LNG Kumuls are planning for 3 internationals, namely the New Zealand tour to PNG, the Oceania Cup match in Sydney, and the PM13 in Port Moresby. These fixtures are still tentative and at this time and will be confirmed depending on international travel restrictions and requirement on public gatherings and social events by relevant authorities in light of the continuing pandemic.
This schedule will be released in the next few months after deliberation from the Rugby League International Federation. PNG LNG's continued support towards the Kumuls will have the men's team look forward to any upcoming international matches and will also assist in preparing for the 2021 Rugby League World Cup.
The partnership between the PNG LNG Kumuls and the PNG RFL and ExxonMobil and PNG LNG has been very successful one for both organizations, both on and off the field. And we are pleased that we are committed to continue this friendship going forward.
Players in the country and overseas have been closely monitored, and depending on their performance will be picked for the Kumul side if there is any test matches. The PNG LNG Kumuls coach Michael Marum is confident that corporate sponsors will continue their support for the Kumuls after a convincing 2019 season, which culminated in the historical win over the British Lions.
The Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League is always reliant on corporate sponsorship. With rugby league being the most popular sport in the country, the men's national team, the PNG LNG Kumuls, need corporate backing to prepare for international fixtures. With the recent renewed sponsorship by ExxonMobil, the PNG LNG Kumuls head coach Michael Marum is confident other sponsors will come on board as well.
You know, our last match we beat Great Britain here, so I'm sure everyone wants to be part of that. LNG been naming rights there. They want to make sure they keep, the Kumuls under them. So, I'm sure that the other firms will probably come to the party as well. So, yeah.
This should be a try. Alex Johnston's in. The International Rugby League IRL is yet to confirm international fixtures for this year, but Marum says they will host Kumul camps in PNG and Australia for the players to keep the momentum going towards the 2021 Rugby League World Cup.
They decide to only have one game, 2 games, 3 games, good for us, but if you don't know those games, then the camps will come into play. So, again, we'll have to consider camps in PNG and also for the boys overseas. So, the NRL competition, State of Origin, will probably be played right up until November. So that's also something we have to be mindful of. So, some of our good players might be picked into Origin, the other teams as well. So, yeah.
Felis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
And still ahead in Trukai Sports, Tarama Aquatic Center delay reopening due to latest positive case of coronavirus. Stay with us for the details.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The Tarama Aquatic Center will not be fully open to the public as intended. This follows the recent announcement of a positive coronavirus case in Port Moresby. The facility was said to reopen soon after the SOE, but that is unlikely now as the management deliberates on further actions to take.
It is now 3 months since the lockdown of the Tarama Aquatic Center to the public. This included the shutting down of the main swimming pool to the public, exercise studios 1 and 2, where national and elite athletes train in preparations for national and international events, and all high-performance services. In an off-camera interview with the staff at the Aquatic Center, the facility was supposed to open its doors this week, following a management meeting 2 days ago, but now it is a different story after the announcement of the recent positive case of the coronavirus. While only certain areas of the Aquatic Center are open, such as the main public gym, the facility has taken preventative measures by practicing social distancing and insisting on having visitors to hand sanitize and do temperature checks at the main entrance before using the facility. PNG Sports Foundation will give the all clear as to when the facility should reopen to the public, but not until anything is heard from the SOE controller. Godwin Eki, Trukai Sports.
To football, the Wellington Phoenix are up and running again on their training field in Australia. Their top goal scorer is in isolation for another 2 weeks. There are fears he might not even make it back for the rest of the season.
He's the mercurial Mexican with the Midas touch. Ulises Davila's first season at the Wellington Phoenix has been prolific, 11 goals in 20 games. His return a huge boost to the team after seeing out lockdown in his homeland.
A big sacrifice, but at the same time I'm happy to to go back with the lads, with the team, and try to finish the league in the best way.
The league suspension giving Davila precious time at home with his wife and newborn son, Ulysses Jr.
It was very special because I spent the time with them. We were also just staying home the first 1 month for the quarantine.
It'll be another 2 weeks in quarantine in his hotel room before Davila's allowed to join the group again here at Valentine Sports Park.
And they will try to bring tonight or tomorrow a bike so I can start to do something, because at the moment I can do nothing. It's nothing to do.
With the Phoenix sitting in third, Davila's arrival is arguably the most important piece of the puzzle. He may drop behind in fitness, but he'll be well rested.
Now I can sleep good again. With the baby was not so possible.
3 days of quarantine down, it won't be long until Davila's the one giving A-League defenders sleepless nights.
And Trukai Sports ends there. Helen will be back with the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
A look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Fine, although partly cloudy in Port Moresby and Kirrama. Partly cloudy with drizzles at times in Daru. Mostly fine, although cloudy in Alotau. And some drizzles tonight, then fine, although partly cloudy weather in Popondita. In the Mamasi region, mostly fine, although partly cloudy in Ley, Dang, Vanimo, and cloudy with rain drizzles in Wewak. In the New Guinea Islands region, partly cloudy tonight with morning rain showers in Lorengau, partly cloudy with likely morning showers and drizzles in Kavieng, a few showers and drizzles tonight, then fine morning in Kokopo and Rabaul, and cloudy with rain showers and drizzles at times in Kimbe and Buka. And in the Highlands region, a few rain drizzles tonight, then morning fog in Mount Hagen. Some drizzles tonight, then morning fog in Goroka and Kundiawa. Rain showers and drizzles tonight, then morning fog in Mendi and Wabeg.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Tuesday, 23rd of June 2020. From all of us here at EMTV, pleasant viewing. Good night.